Okay, welcome. ሕጂ ሃፍታ ዝሓለፈት ቪድዮ በፂሕና ዝነበርና ካብዚኣ ኤላስቲክ ኔትወርክ ኢንተርፌስ ወይ ከዓ ENI ትብል ኢና ክንቅፅል ማለት እዩ። Alright. So we talked about a lot of things. EC2 እንታይ እዩ the infrastructure as a service of the EC2 service ከዓ ብዙሕ ዓይነት tools ወይ ከዓ services ኣለውና ዝጥቕለሉ ኣብ EC2 ማለት እዩ። ንኣብነት virtual server ወይ ከዓ EC2 instance provision ክንገብር ወይ ከዓ spin up ክንገብር ኣብቲ ናይ EC2 service ኢና ንኣቱ load balancing ገለገለ ብዙሕ service auto scaling ብዙሕ service ርኢና ነርና plus EC2 instance ወይ ከዓ virtual server provision ክንገብር ከለናስ እንታይ ነገራት ኢና consider ንገብር ኢልና ርኢና ነርና ንኣብነት tag ወይ ከዓ naming of our EC2 instance which is a key value pair such as environment production, environment dev, environment test ክኸውን ይኽእል ወይ ከዓ ብኦነር ከዓ ክኸውን ይኽእል ኦነር ማይክል ኦነር ዴቪድ ኦነር and so on ካልኡን security group storage ናይቲ EC2 instance ገለገለ ድብል ዲቴል ኢና ነርና one of those was ENI ወይ ከዓ elastic network interface and now we are going to go ahead and continue from here ማለት እዩ okay ሕጂ network configuration ሕጂ EC2 instance deploy ክንገብር ከለና ኣበይና deploy ንገብሮ where is it going to be deployed እዚ ሕጂ እቲ network configuration ናቱ ሲ እንታይ እዩ ድኸውን ድብል ክንምልስ ክንፍትን ኢና ማለት እዩ ሕጂ እንታይ ብለና ኣሎ እዚ EC2 instance are private AWS resources okay so public AWS resources ኣለዎ ብAWS managed ዝኾኑ and VPC based resources ካልኦ ከም በዓል EC2 instance ወይ ከዓ ከም በዓል database ሕጂ ሓደ virtual server EC2 instance ምስ database እንተላ deploy ጌርካዮ ኣብ ውሽጢ VPC ናትና ኢና deploy ንገብሮ okay instead of private ምባል ከማን VPC resources VPC services ወይ ከዓ ናይ VPC resources ኢልና ተጠቀስናዮም I think it would make sense okay and are deployed inside a VPC in a subnet within availability zone ሕጂ እቲ networking ዝበሃል ክልተ portion ናይ networking ኣሎ networking 1 and networking 2 ሕጂ ኣብቲ networking 1 ኢና ክንመሃሮ እቲ VPC subnets ገለ ድብል ግን ቁርብ ግፍዕ ድበለ ስለ ዝኾነ just high level idea ጥራይ ክህበኩም ስለ ዘለዎ ስለዚ ኣብ ውሽጢ VPC ናትና ወይ ከዓ virtual private cloud which is our logical isolation ወይ ከዓ virtual network እዩ isolation ዝህበና ማለት እዩ ኣብ ውሽጢ VPC ናትና ኢና deploy ንገብሮ ምናልባት ኣብዚ እውን ሓደ database እንተዳ provision ጌርና if our EC2 instance is going to talk with our database say web server ክኸውን ይኽእል እዚ database እውን ኣብ ውሽጢ VPC ናትና እዩ provision ዝኸውን ኢልና ነርና ሕጂ እዚኣ common scenario ንኽትርዳእና ፅብቕቲ እያ እንታይ እዩ ኩሉ ሰዓብ ከም ዝተሳኢሉ ኢና ክንሪኦ ኣብ AWS ሕጂ ኣለና ሓደ እዚ ሕጂ ሓደ AWS region ክኸውን ይኽእል እዚ ሕጂ London region ንበሎ for example okay ድሓር ኣብ ውሽጢ እዚ region ናትና VPC ናትና deploy ንገብሮ okay so this will be our VPC to architecture ወይ ከዓ network architecture ምእንቲ ንኽርዳእና ማለት እዩ okay and then እንታይ ኣለና ካልእ ከዓ availability zones ኣለውና ከም ትሪእና ዝነበርና AWS runs in multiple regions and inside the region we have availability zones ኣብቲ ውሽጢ availability zones እዮም እቶም data centers ደለዉ ኢልና ነርና okay እቶም servers ገለመለ ማለት እዩ ሕጂ ኣብዚ እቶም availability zones ኣለና ሕጂ ንኣብነት እዚ ለንደን ብEU West 2 እዩ ዝግለጽ ኣብ AWS ማለት እዩ ብትክሉ EU West 2 ስለዚ እዚኦም availability zone ናትና ከዓ እንታይ ተባሂሎም ይጽውዑ EU West 2A EU West 2B EU West 2C ተባሂሎም ይጽውዑ ማለት እዩ ሕጂ provision ክንገብር ከለና EC2 instance ኣብ ናይ VPC ኢና multiple VPCs ክህልውና ይኽእሉ ገሊኡ ናይ production ገሊኡ ናይ development ገሊኡ ናይ test ገለገለ ብዙሕ ወይ ብዲፓርትመንት ክኸውን ይኽእል ስለዚ እቲ VPC ኣበይ ናይ VPC ናይ deploy ንገብሮ select ንገብር ማለት እዩ okay ሕጂ ኣብዚ availability zones ናትና we have to create subnets ማለት እዩ distinguish ክንገብሮም እቲኦም ወይ ከዓ categorize ክንገብሮም ኣብ subnets ቶም resources ናትና subnets create ክንገብር ኣለና okay All right, here we go. I think my slideshow is stuck. It's okay. We'll restart it مثلني. Okay. So እቲኦም EC2 instance ናትና ዲፕሎይ ክንገብሮም ከለና ኣብ ውሽጢ ሳብኔት ኢና ዲፕሎይ ንገብሮም ማለት እዩ ኦኬ ሶ እቲኦም ኣብ ውሽጢ availability zone ሳብኔትስ ክሬት ንገብር ሕጂ እዚ ሳብኔት ገለ ዝብል ኣብ ዝሓለፈ ናይ introduction to IT or ኣብቲ ዝሓለፈ ክላስስ ናትና ርኢና ስለዝና why do we need ሳብኔት እንታይ ከመይ ጌርና ሴግመንት ንገብሮ ኔትወርክ ናትና ገለ ድብል ብዙሕ ርኢና ስለዝነበርና please go ahead and visit it if you don't remember it ሕጂ for that reason EC2 instance ናትና ዲፕሎይ ክንገብሮም ከለና ሳብኔት ከዓ ንሰሌክት ንገብር ኦኬ ስለዚ ሕጂ ንኣብነት ኣብዚ ሳብኔት እዚ እቲ ቨርቹዋል ሰርቨር ናትና ወይ ከዓ ነቲ EC2 instance ናትና ዲፕሎይ ንገብሮ ማለት እዩ ሜቢ ኣብ ሳብኔት እዚ ከዓኒ እዚኣ ሳብኔት ናትና ፕራይቬት እንተደኣ ጌርናያ we have a way to do that ክንመሃሮ ኢና ኣብቲ ኔትወርኪንግ ግን say this could be your database and this might be your EC2 instance which is publicly accessible okay web server ተራ ኮይኑስ public access ገብሮ ስለ ዘሎ ሕጂ ከም እንዳገበርና ኢና እቲ EC2 instance ናትና ዲፕሎይ ንገብር ማለት ስለዚ እቲ ናይ ኔትወርኪንግ አርኪቴክቸር ድበሃል just at a high level ቁርብ አይዲያ ንክህልወኩም ኢለ ምክንያቱ you need to know where your EC2 instance is okay so having said that let's move on ናብ ዘይክስታይና ማለት እዩ ሕጂ EC2 instance are allocated a private IP address from the subnet or CIDR block where it is deployed in ሕጂ ናይ ግድን ሓደ private IP address ክህልዎ ስለ ዘሎ ካብቲ block of subnet ካብቲ range of IP address ነቲ subnet allocate ገበርና ካብኡ ሓደ IP address allocated ዝኾነሉ ማለት and we can have additional IP addresses if we want to ማለት እዩ okay ሕጂ ሓደ ከዓኒ ናይ ግድን primary elastic network interface okay ሓደ network interface ከዓ ናይ ግድን ክህልዎ ኣለዎ ማለት እዩ EC2 instance can be allocated public IP address yeah of course ሕጂ ንኣብነት publicly accessible ክኸውን ኮይኑ ሰባት ካብ ኢንተርኔት እንተደኣ ነቲ application access ክገብርዎ እንተደኣ ንደሊ ኣለና we should make that EC2 instance we should give it a public IP address and preferably elastic IP address elastic IP address ማለት እንታይ እዩ static ኩሉ ሰዓት ሕጂ for example elastic IP address 1.1.1.1 ተራ allocate ጌርናሉ እቲ EC2 instance ዋላ stop ይኹን ዋላ restart ይኹን ኣይቀየርኒ እቲ IP address እንተዳ elastic allocate ጌርናሉ ግን dynamic ይኹን for some reason configure ምስ ገበርና ዲና ገለ እቲ EC2 instance stop and start ተጌርናዮ then that IP address could change ስለዚ እዚ ብዙሕ issues ከጋጥም ስለዝኽእል it could be important to have a elastic IP address if our application is publicly accessible ማለት እዩ so select your VPC you want to deploy your EC2 instance to select a subnet within the availability zone optionally assign a dynamic public IP address well yeah it's better to be a public I mean elastic IP address usually ማለት እዩ unless you're okay with the dynamic IP address ማለት እዩ okay choose or select security group ድሓር እቲ EC2 instance ናትና provision ምስ ገበርና ናይ ግድን we have to make sure that it is secure okay እጂ እዚ ከዓኒ security group ወይ ከዓኒ firewall okay SG ዝበሃል firewall እንታይ ትራፊክ ኣላው ንገብር እንታይ ትራፊክ ዲናይ ንገብር ሕጂ ንኣብነት security group ናይ እዚኣ ሕጂ ta public EC2 instance ተኮይና ኣብዚ ከዓኒ ሓደ database ተዳኣለና ኮይኑ okay ክልቲኡ security group ክንገብረሉ ኣለና ሕጂ ነዚ ኣብቲ security group okay allow anybody ክንብል ንኽእል ኢና that comes from the internet ምክንያቱ publicly accessible ስለዝኾነ ኣብዚኣ ሳብኔት እዚኣ ናትና ta database ዘላታ ግን we don't want to allow any IP address that comes from the internet ምክንያቱ database should be secured ስለዚ only allow traffic that comes from this EC2 instance ጥራይ ክንብል ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ okay so security group ከም ሓደ firewall ጌርና ክንሓስቦ ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ all right okay so let's talk more about security groups a security group acts as a firewall that can control the traffic allowed to and from the resources in your VPC okay makes sense for each security group you add a separate set of rules for inbound traffic and outbound traffic there's security group ናትና ሕጂ it's very important to know about inbound traffic and outbound traffic ሕጂ EC2 instance ናትና ብዝሎ okay security group ናትና ከዓ well firewall ከዓ ዓፂዎ ኣሎ well secure ገይርዎ ኣሎ ሕጂ inbound traffic ማለት say for example እዚ ሕጂ publicly accessible ተኮይኑ ካብ ደገ ዝመጽእ ማለት this is the inbound traffic እዚ ካብ ደገ ዝመጽና ማለት እዩ okay ካብ ደገ initiated ዝኾነ ትራፊክ outbound traffic ማለት ከኣኒ ካብዚ EC2 instance ናትና initiated ዝኾን ትራፊክ ከኣኒ it's an outbound traffic okay ሕጂ ካልእ ኮንሰፕት እንታይ ኣሎ return traffic ኣሎ okay so this is the same EC2 instance ሕጂ እቲ inbound እንታይ የለናዮ initiated from elsewhere ካብ ካልእ ቦታ initiate ዝኾነ ትራፊክ ይልናዮ እቲ inbound ሕጂ ንኣብነት ኣነ ኣለኹ ብዚ or anybody access ገብሮ say እዚ ሓደ ዌብ ኣፕሊኬሽን ናትናይ access ገብሮ እዚ ሕጂ inbound traffic ይበሃል ማለት እዩ እዚ inbound traffic ኣነ ሕጂ access ምስ ገበርኩ ኣብ ላፕቶፕ ኮይነ ድዩ ገለ እዚ server ወይ ከዓ እዚ EC2 instance ከዓ response ክበን ኣለዎ okay web page ተረኣ ደልየት web page ክሰደለይ ክኽእል ኣለዎ ሕጂ this is not an outbound traffic this is a return traffic okay you need to know the difference እዚ return traffic ምክንያቱ client server relationship እንታይ ነርና client request ትገብር server ከኣኒ respond ይገብረሉ በቲ request ናቱ respond ይገብረሉ ማለት እዩ so this is a return traffic outbound traffic ክንብል ከለና ግን what we mean is initially እቲ ትራፊክ ካብዚ EC2 instance ዝተበገሰ ኢና ንብለና ምናልባት እዚ EC2 instance ሕጂ ምስ ሓደ database ተደኣ ክዛረብ ደልዩ initiate ግብር connection ማለት እዩ ይሰድድ እዚ ሕጂ outbound traffic because the traffic is initiated from this EC2 instance so you need to know the difference between return traffic and the outbound traffic ምክንያቱ ኣብዚኣ እዩ ብዙሕ ሰብ confused ዝኾኑ security group ንኸይርድኦ ሲ they get really confused on this one okay so return traffic is request response outbound traffic is a traffic that is initiated from the EC2 instance or whatever compute resources that is out there okay all right security groups are stateful okay what does stateful mean and this is again another important concept for you to understand is a law EC2 instance not law is a security this is our security group okay our SG حاجة stateful ማለት ናብነት if clients are accessing our application for ካብ ሞባይል ኹን ካብ ላፕቶፕ ኹን ገለ request ሰዱ web page ናብነት ክኸውን ይኽእል some sort of web application request ሰዱ ሕጂ security group ታይ firewall ስለ ዝበልናዮ is this traffic allowed to reach our EC2 instance filter ትገብረልና security group ማለት እዩ okay let's assume yes it's allowed okay security group ምስራይ filter ገይሩ okay you're allowed ኢሉ ናብ EC2 instance ናትና request ሰዶ ማለት እዩ ሽዑ EC2 instance ናትና እንታይ እዩ ክሰድድ response ይኽሰድድ okay a response traffic ይኽሰድድ መልሲ ናይቲ request ማለት እዩ ሕጂ እዚ መልሲ ናይዚ request ክኸይድ ከሎ a return traffic ማለት እዩ is it going to be filtered or not ስለዚህ ኣብ security group no it's not going to be filtered return traffic is always allowed okay response okay responses are always allowed they are not filtered okay so that because that's a return traffic that's what stateful means stateless ተዝኸውን ነይሩ ግን ክንሪኦ ኢና ኣብ ካልእ እዋን stateless ተኾይኑ ግን ዋላ እቲ response traffic ወይ ከዓ እቲ return traffic ከይተረፈ እዩ filtered ትኸውን but in security groups they are stateful which means return traffic is not filtered only the traffic that is initiated from the outside is filtered ማለት እዩ okay I hope it makes sense እዚኣ ክብለኩም ፀናሕከ for example if you send a request from an EC2 instance the response traffic that for that request is allowed to reach the instance regardless of the inbound security group rule okay እዚኣ ክብለኩም ፀናሕከ security group rules are implicit deny we'll see what this implicit deny mean image ማለት እዩ when you first create a security group it has no inbound rule and has no outbound rule that allows traffic it's okay we will do this on the demo a security group can be assigned multiple resources and a resource can have multiple security groups okay security group can be assigned to multiple resources ሓደ security group create ተገርና rule ይባሃል security group or security group እዚ security group እዚ ንኣብነት ሓሙሽተ EC2 instance ተራ ኣለውና ኮይኑ the same security group ንሓሙሽቲኦም EC2 instance ክስታይ ክንገብሮ ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ apply ክንገብሮ ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ okay and ሓደ EC2 instance ከኣኒ multiple security groups ክህልዎ ይኽእል እዩ Okay, number of security groups. ንኣብነት ሓደ security group rule that allows traffic from anywhere. ካልእ security group rule maybe ናይ database ክኸውን ይኽእል ናይ ገለ multiple security groups allocate ክንገብረሉ ንኽእል ኢና ንሓደ resource ወይ ከዓኒ it could be any resource, it could be EC2 instance, it could be whatever. Okay, but don't stress too much about this. መጀመሪያ confusing ክመስል ይኽእል እዩ ግን it's not like a really significant topic. You'll understand as you go along. Okay, so this is how a security group would look like. Here our EC2 instance allo, ናትና elastic network interface allo. So come to develop now, a security group surrounds our ENI, we can elastic network interface, because traffic goes to our EC2 instance through our elastic network interface. So here what we're looking at is inbound rule. ሕጂ ከም ዝመስል security group after management console ክንሪኦ ከለና እንታይ ብላሎ name ኣለዎ, security group rule ኣለዎ, rule number ማለት እዩ እዚ version IPv4 type እንታይ ዓይነት traffic, what is the type of traffic that you want to allow. ያ ታሕቶ type ሕጂ HTTP or it could be HTTPS web traffic ማለት እዩ. protocol ናቱ TCP of course. port range it could be 80, it could be 443 for HTTPS ማለት እዩ. ካበይ ድመፀ traffic, source is where is the source, ካበይ እቲ traffic ዝመጽ ዘሎ ተኣላው ክትገብሮ ደሊኻ ኣለኻ. 0.0.0.0/0 means catch all, which means anywhere ማለት እዩ. Okay, this means anywhere. ካብ ዝኾነ traffic ካብ internet from anywhere regardless of the IP address of the source allow it ማለት እዩ. Okay, so we are allowing a web ወይ ከዓኒ HTTPS that comes from anywhere. እዚ ሕጂ ሓንቲ rule እያ. This is one security group rule. እታ ካልኣይቲ security group rule ከዓኒ SSH type ናይቲ traffic SSH the secure shell ንmanagement connect ንገብረሉ EC2 instance ርኢና ነርና. allow it. Okay, to port ከዓኒ ናይ SSH port ከዓኒ it's a port 22 እዚኦም ሕጂ well known ports እዮም. port 80, port 443, port 22 እዚ እውን again ኣሎ after IT concepts. Okay, what is the source? ሕጂ from anywhere telna, it means that anybody, the management, anybody can access our EC2 instance, which is not secure, which is very dangerous. So instead of that, we specify it. Only, say for example, if this is the management's public IP address, only allow SSH connection that comes from this specific public IP address. ምክንያቱ ሓደ public IP address ይኽህሉ ዝኽእል ኣብ ዓለም ሙሉ it's unique. ስለዚ ከምዚ ጌርና restrict ተጌርናዮ, nobody else can SSH to our EC2 instance except the admin ማለት እዩ. Okay, so this is how the inbound rule. ታ implicit ድበልናዮ እንታይ እያ? If you notice here, deny ድብል የለን. ሕጂ እንታይ ማለት እዩ? implicit, if you don't list it, it is automatically denied ማለት እዩ. Okay, ሕጂ it could be any traffic. ካልእ ዓይነት traffic, if it's not specified here, say for example ICMP. Okay, ICMP, which is ping. Ping is a protocol itself, it's called ICMP actually. ሕጂ እዚ እንተደኣ list ደጌርናዮ, it is denied. ሓደ ሰብ መፂኡ ping to this EC2 instance ክብል ሳይክል is not going to be allowed. denied ብል የብልናን, ግን if we don't list it, it is automatically denied ማለት እዩ. that's implicit deny. Okay, and next outbound ኣለዎ. ስለዚ security group configure ክንገብር ከለና ወይ create ክንገብር ከለና we create a rules inbound and we create rules for outbound. ሕጂ ኣብዚ outbound እንታይ ንብል ኣለና? all traffic. As long as the traffic is initiated from this EC2 instance itself, we are telling it to allow it. በቃ ካብዚኣ እንተደኣ initiated ኮይና ta traffic simply allow it. Any kind of traffic, it could be ICMP, it could be HTTP, it could be whatever. Okay, it's not a return traffic. We are talking about the traffic that is initiated from the EC2 instance itself. Okay, so this is a security group. Okay, user data እንታይ እዩ? allows you to automatically run scripts or commands when EC2 instance first launches. Okay, ሕጂ ንኣብነት ዌብ ኣፕሊኬሽን ክንገብር ደሊና ኣለና ንሓደ EC2 instance, እንደገና እቲ ኦፐሬቲንግ ሲስተም ከዓ ኣፕዴት ክንገብሮ ኣለና once provision ምስ ገበርና እቲ EC2 instance ማለት እዩ። ሕጂ እቲ ኣፕዴት ምግባር ነቲ ኦፐሬቲንግ ሲስተም ኮንፊገር ምግባር ነቲ ዌብ ኣፕሊኬሽን ወይ ከዓ HTTPD ኣፓቺ ዌብ ሰርቨር ክንገብሮ ደሊና ንኸውን። ሕጂ ክልተ ኦፕሽን ኣለና. ሓደ ስቕ ኢልና ነቲ EC2 instance provision ንገብሮ شع provision مس قبرنا SSH جيرنا connect جيرنا خفت management ناتنا install نقبره له مالتي update نقبر operating system we install Apache web server HTTPD قال configurations initiate مس قبرنا وي كان spin up مس قبرنا EC2 instance كله نقدر نقبره but instead it would be much easier to automate this process. And how do we automate this process? It is by using an EC2 user data مالتي. Okay. حجتين نقبر EC2 instance create እንዳገበርና ያخለና name ንገብሮ storage ንመርፀሉ networking ንመርፅ አቤና VPCU security group configure ንገብር ገለገለት process ድሓርታይ ንገብር instead of EC2 instance spin up ምስ ገበረት configuration ንገብሮ እቲ user data ንሕልፎ. Okay. scripts ንፅሕፎ በዚ. We write it in scripts. In Linux do Windows do different kind scripts allowna. So instead of waiting for the EC2 instance to launch, እንታይ ድገብረልና እዚ እቲ EC2 instance ኣብ network ቅድሚ available ምዃኑ ነዚ scripts ከም root ኮይኑ run ይገብሮ. ከም root ማለት ከም privileged ማለት እዩ. It will be allowed to run those scripts as a super user ማለት እዩ. Okay, permissions ኣለዎ ብሓፂር ኣዘራርባ. ቅድሚ ኣብ network available ምዃኑ بمولو update قبرنا to operating system install قبرنا HTTPD قلمنا so by the time the instance of network available كون كله configurations بمولو تودي يمتصنا so this is like automating things مالتي. Okay. This data can be used to configure and initialize your instance, install software or perform setup tasks without manual intervention. Yeah, زخون configurations بcommand line قرنا نقبرو نخلي عليه. User data is typically provided at launch but it only runs during the first boot process. Yep. So إذا مثلا عملت حج web server ترى أدلينا إذا script إذا نحلف مالتي أب لينكس. Okay, يام update دا شوي إذا حج update قبلنا نت operating systemنا install إذا حج Amazon Linux command سي يام install دا شوي إذا حج HTTPD ويكان web إذا Apache web server install قبلنا نت system. HTTPD start قبره enable قبره even though if the EC2 instance start the service بحر كم زخا display قبرنا so you don't have to worry about this. It's just an example. Okay. So this is what it is مالتي. Okay. All right. So next is EC2 metadata. They are just simply at a high level كنحلفينا allows instances to access information about themselves. زي حجي حدا application تدعلنا خوينو after application ناتنا حجينا أبنت DNS public DNS name نا EC2 instance ناتنا ويكا private DNS name نا EC2 instance ناتنا ويتا IP address و private could be public وي زخون عينة information بزعبات EC2 instance انت لأدلينا EC2 metadata نتكم حجي أب كندا after application ناتنا hard code نقبره نابنت my IP address is 2.1.4.10 قال أب كنديلنا after application ناتنا نصحفه بزي EC2 metadata دبهال service بو غيرنا automate نقبره to process مالتي سلازي every time the application ناتنا information بزعات EC2 instance خدل خيد كله بزي metadata غير استيقوره مالتي. Okay, allows instances to access information about themselves. This includes details such as instance ID, public and private IP address, instance type, security group, any information that EC2 instance. Derina, we use this EC2 metadata. حجز EC2 metadata خان بزي you access تخون 169.254.169.254/latest/metadata إلنا تزدلنا information retrieve كنقبر نخيل حدا خابزين example حجي نهلنا curly لنا زي EC2 metadata لنا public IPv4 لنا حجز public IPv4 تي EC2 instance ناتنا retrieve go ويكاتا application ناتنا retrieve go مالتي if we put this. Okay, حجي say for example dynamic IP address تخوينو زقاير تخوينو سي نزيا IP address زي أنت لا after application ناتنا hard code جدنا صباح أنت لا تغيراسي it's not going to work. Our application is going to break مالتي. جن بس أنت لا غيرنا every time the application ناتنا نز retrieve كوجبره خلو whatever updated public IP address تزول يزركب مالتي so it doesn't error out. ولا security ولا نقله we should use EC2 metadata. If we want a private DNS كأنه هو the same thing 169.254.169.254/latest/metadata/hostname تهدنا هاني output ናትና DNS private DNS name ናትና ይህበና ማለት እዩ so this is how an EC2 metadata is okay so this is just a high level information but you can read more about it search ተገርኩም ኣብ Google ገለ you can find more information on that okay ካልእ EC2 instance how are they named ሕጂ ብዙሕ ዓይነት EC2 instance ኣለና ኢልና ነርና እንተደለና ሻሎ ዓብ specification ዘለዎ server provision ክንገብር ንኽእል ኢና or medium or small we can different types of workloads ስሉና ንኣብነት ሕጂ ሓደ EC2 instance ንmachine learning ንኸውን EC2 instance እንደለ ንኸውን ሕጂ እንታይ ዓይነት EC2 instance ኢና provision ንገብር እዚ ሕጂ different types of EC2 instance ኣለውና እዚ ኸኣኒ naming ከኣን standard naming system ከኣለዎም ማለት እዩ okay ሕጂ እቲ naming it goes like this ኣብዚኣ example እንታይ ንወስድ ኣለና C7GN 2x large ንብል ኣለና ሕጂ እዚኣ C series ናይቲ EC2 instance እዩ ብዙሕ series ኣለውና okay compute optimized storage optimized ገለ ኣለዉ okay እዚኣ C ta series ያ እዚኣ 7 ካኒ generation ያ ሕጂ ቅድሚ እዚኣ 7 እዚኣ probably 6 ነይሩ ክኸውን ይኽእል ቅድሚኡ 5 ነይሩ ክኸውን ይኽእል and so on okay እዚ GN ካኒ options specification ናይቲ excuse me ናይቲ EC2 instance ማለት እዩ እዚ ሕጂ probably እዚ G ዝብሎ ኣሎ እታ ዓይነት processor እዩ ዝነግረና ዘሎ okay graviton processor ናይ AWS processor ኣሎ graviton ዝበሃል Intel ተኾይኑ ኸኣኒ I am not sure but maybe I ክኸውን ይኽእል or something like that እዚ N ከኣኒ it's telling us that it's network optimized ከምዚ ዕቢል በለ ኣብቲ ናይ networking ናቱ capacity ዘለዎ እዩ ማለት እዩ ዝነግረና ኣሎ እዚአን ሕጂ options እዩ ናይቲ EC2 instance እዚ ዘይብሉ ተኾይኑ well at least እዚኣ N ትብል ደይብላ ተኾይና ከምዚ ኣብቲ networking performance ናቱ standard እዩ ማለት እዩ ከምዚ ቁርብ upgraded ዝኾነ ናይ networking communication የብሉን ማለት እዩ ሕጂ workload ዝተለኣሉና ኮይኑ high speed ናይ networking ዝደሊ ተራ ኮይኑ ሕጂ usually እቲ N ደሎ ኢና ክንመርፅ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ እዚአን left hand side ደለዋ እዚአን መስላ ድሕሪ እዛ ዶት ደላ 2x large ትብል ደላ እዚ ሕጂ ምዕባይ ናይቲ EC2 instance ማለት እዩ okay so 2x large ኣሎ ኣብዚ ካልእ option እንታይ ክህልወና ክእል x large ጥራይ እዚ 2 ደይብሉ which is smaller than this EC2 instance ማለት እዩ this is in terms of CPU and memory ክኸውን ይኽእል ማለት እዩ okay ካልእ ኸኣኒ large ጥራይ ከዓ ክህልወና ክእል ክኸውን which is going to be again smaller than this 2x large so እዚ ከዓ እንታይ ኢና ንፅውዖ instant size ንብሎ ማለት እዩ okay so we have instance family እዚኣ C ትበሃል እያ most likely ta family ትበሃል ዘላ እዚ ከኣኒ እዚ 2x large ዝብሎ ዘሎ ከኣኒ instant size ማለት እዩ so this is the instance type in total in general ክንሪኦ ከለና this is instance type okay we don't need to memorize it ኣው ከለና high level ጥራይ ተተረዲእና እኹል እዩ okay ሕጂ usually ብዛዕባ EC2 instance type ክንሓስብ ከለና it is the vCPU versus memory ብኻልእ ኣዘራርባ CPU ወይ ከዓ ነቲ processor capacity ማለት እዩ እዚ and memory ከዓ እቲ RAM ማለት እዩ ሕጂ it's a ratio ወይ ከዓ comparison between these two ሕጂ እዚኣ C6G X large ትብል ዘላ 4 vCPU ኣለዋ and RAM ከኣኒ 8 gigabytes ኣለዋ okay ሕጂ ሓደ example ማለት እዩ ናይ እዚ 2x large ተወሲድና ከኣኒ it becomes 2 times ማለት እዩ usually 2 times እዩ ዝኸውን ሕጂ ኣብዚ vCPU ክንደይ ኣለዎ 8 ኣለዎ memory ወይ ከዓ RAM ከኣኒ 16 ኣለዎ ማለት ሕጂ 2x ክንውስኽ ከለና it usually multiplies the vCPU and the memory by 2 እንዳዓበየ ኸይድ ኣሎ ማለት እዩ 4x ተኾይኑ ከኣኒ can imagine 4x large 8x large ገለ መለ እንዳለ ኸይድ ኽእል ማለት እዩ okay so this is the naming stuff ሕጂ ከምቲ ድበልናዮ ብዙሕ ዓይነት instance types ኣለውና ሕጂ ንምንታይ workload ናቲ EC2 instance ንደልዮ ዘለና እንታይ ናራን ክንገብር is it machine learning ወይስ graphics bounded እዩ ሓደ ዝኾነ movies ዲና edit ክንገብር ወይ ዓብ graphics ዲና ክንሰርሕ high performance computing ዘለና ድዩ it could be for many reasons ሕጂ ሓደ ካብቶም ካቴጎሪ general purpose ኣለና compute optimized ወይ ከዓ RAM ብዙሕ RAM ንኣብነት ሕጂ large data sets ኣብ memory store ክንገብር ወይ ከዓ compute ክንገብር ተራእደልና ኮይና ከምዚ ንዓበይቲ database ማለት it could be memory optimized accelerated compute storage optimized and high performance compute when كان HPC optimized دبلو بوزحات ኣለውና ስለዚ more information ብዛዕባ እዚ EC2 instance ወይ ከዓኒ እንታይ ዓይነት EC2 instance እዩ ዘለና ክንብል ተለለና እዚኣ link ኣላ we can visit the link okay እጂ ኣብዚ ንሪኦ ዘለና ንህለ general purpose ኣሎ general purpose instance provide a balance of compute and memory ሕጂ ኩሉ ሳዕ ብዛዕባ ሜሞሪን ብዛዕባ CPU ንደሎ ratio እንዲዩ ዝዛረብ ሕጂ ክንሪኦ ንኽእል ኢና ብዚ ማለት ሕጂ እቶም general purpose ዝበሃሉ M ዝበሃሉ ፋሚሊ ኣለውና T ከዓኒ ኣለና okay M and T ኣለዉ ማለት እዩ burstable ማለት እዮም እዚኦም T okay so ኣብዚ ሎት ኢንፎርሜሽን ክተንብብዎ ትኽእሉ ኢኹም እቲ ሊንክ ከዓኒ ኣብዚ ኣላ ኣብዚኣ ታሕቲ ደላ this is the link so you can have a look if you want to know more about EC2 instance but this is not something you should memorize compute optimized ከዓኒ C ኣለና okay እዚኦም C ዝበሃሉ ፋሚሊ እዮም compute optimized instance are ideal for compute bound applications that benefit from high performance processor as the name indicates okay so memory optimized ገለገለ ኣብዚ ብዲቴይል ኩሉ ስለ ዝገልጽ ወላት VCPU ክንደይ ኣለዎ R8G medium R8G large X large 2X large 4X large ገለ እንዳበለ ኸይድ you have a lot of information that you can read on this page okay but this is not something that you need to memorize all right okay no so now let's have a demo EC2 instance ከመይ ጌርና provision ንገብር security group ከመይ ጌርና allocate ንገብረሉ ገለ እሱታት let's have a demo okay ሕጂ I am already logged into my AWS console እዚ ሕጂ management console ናተዩ I am using the web okay so EC2 instance እንዲና ለድናልና service ሕጂ ኣብዚ EC2 ኢልና ንፅሕባ search bar to find it easily and then we go ahead and click it ሕጂ እዚ ናብቲ EC2 service ይወስደና ማለት እዩ all right optional ከዓነ ኣብዚ ክስታይ ተጌርናውን ቶም services ኣብዚ listed ኮይኖም ክንሪኦም ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ ኣብዚ ሕጂ እቲ recently visited ኣብዚ የሪአና and hold on yeah mistaken time ኣብዚ ከዓነ analytics እንታይ ዓይነት service ይገለ database ተኮይኑ database machine learning ገለ ብዙሓት service ናይ AWS ልዕሊ 200 service ኣለዎም so we can find it here ማለት እዩ okay so EC2 service ከም ትዝረአናዮ instance ብዛዕባ storage ብዛዕባ network security group load balancing auto scaling ገለ ድብል ብዙሕ services encompass ገብር ሕጂ ግን እንታይ ኢና ኣለና EC2 instance ኢና launch ክንገብር ኢና ኣለና so we go ahead and select instances as you can see I don't have any EC2 instance running and ኣብዚ right upper ተርኢና ከዓኒ it tells me where in which region I am أنا هجي تنا AWS region تكمل له London region يمالتي then if we want to select a region maybe if we want to spin up an EC2 instance in North Virginia if I select North Virginia over here it will take me to North Virginia مالتي okay so which is really great just أبز خونه بوتاس we can have compute resources مالتي we can IT resources أبز دلنا region in minutes provision نقبر نخلينا مالتي so I'm going to go ahead and choose launch instance. Okay. It will take me to this place and then first option that is giving me is name. Okay. I need to name my EC2 instance, so let me call it web server. Okay, additional tags ممكن نقبر نخلينا. حجنا أبنت name إلنا web server إلنا يلنا. Okay, let me correct this one. All right. add new tag إلنا أبز حج environment خم تزبرنا environment خنبر نخلينا environment أبز قات value ناتنا هاني production prod كنبلون نخل. Okay. All right. So this is good. Okay. ده حر انتنا نمرز application and operating system images the AMI دبلنا أنا Amazon machine image هجي Amazon machine image تايلنا نيرنا it is the operating system plus an optional software دلنا انتلو مالتي ሕጂ እቲ ኦፐሬቲንግ ሲስተም ናትና we have off the shelf Amazon Linux ኣለና ማክ ኦኤስ ኣሎ ናይ ዓይነት ናይ ሊነክስ ከኣኒ ኡቡንቱ ኣለና ሬድ ሃት ኣለና ሱዘ ሊነክስ ኣሎ ዴቢያን ኣሎ and we also have Microsoft Windows. Okay, for this example I'm just going to select Amazon Linux. ግን ኣብዚኣ if we notice over here browse AMIs ብለና ኣሎ ሕጂ AWS marketplace ትበሃል ኣሎ okay include AMIs from AWS marketplace and the community ሕጂ ኣብዚኣ select ተገርና after the AWS marketplace ወስደና ማለት እዩ alright ሕጂ let's ሕጂ quick Amazon እንዲሁ off the shelf Amazon ዘዳልወልና but here we can see it says AWS marketplace ከባቢ 6000 ዝኸውን ሲ images ኣለውና ማለት እዩ ሕጂ as you can see here operating system plus ዘድልና software ንኣብነት open VPN software ተደልና ካብ install ንገብር ገለመለ already ኣብዚ ምስቲ operating system ናቱ package ዝኾነ system software ንረክብ ማለት እዩ Fortinet ኣለና ናይ networking Splunk ኣሎ Cisco you can find a lot of softwares over here even ናይ Microsoft database እውን ክንረክብ ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ ኣብዚ search ጌርና okay so additional software ተደልና instead of license ካብ ምግዛእ install ካብ ምግባር ገለመለ subscribe ንገብር if it's a free software we get it for free but if the vendor third party vendor ማለት እዩ ናይ AWS marketplace if they are charging for it ምስቲ EC2 instance ናትና by the hour due by the minute due ገለ እንዳኸፈልናሉ ንኸይድ ማለት እዩ in cents ማለት እዩ which is great but for this example let's just go ahead and use the Amazon off the shelf Amazon Linux 2 Linux 2023 دول ሕጂ حكي I believe so yeah Amazon Linux 2023 select نقبرينا مالتي okay I believe yeah sometimes this thing gets a bit slow okay so I have selected it the information abz ክንረኽቦ ንኽእልና Amazon Linux 2023 ገለብለና ኣሎ published and stuff ሕጂ instance type ከኣኒ ሕጂ ኣብዚ ነገረና ኣሎ T2 micro ተኾይኑ it's a free tier eligible free tier ድህበና እንተዳ account ናትና ለዛን 1 year ተዳ ኣሎ ኮይኑ T2 micro ወይ ከኣኒ T2 ገለ T2 micro ንኣብነት ሕጂ it's another free tier eligible usually ንትምህርቲ T2 micro ኢና ንጥቀም and ኣብዚ ኸ ይነግረና ኣሎ ክንደይ ሜሞሪ ኣለዎ ክንደይ ራም ኣለዎ ገለ ክንደይ ንኸፍል ገለ ኣብዚ ይነግረና ማለት እዩ okay key pair እንታይ ኢልና ነርና it is a key value pair we can I mean sorry it is a private and public keys ማለት እዩ to public key ኣብ AWS store ትሆን to private ከኣነ ኣብ ላፕቶፕና እዚ ሕጂ ንማኔጅመንት ምስቲ EC2 instance connect ክንገብር ንጥቀመሉ እዩ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ we have the option to proceed without a key pair which is not recommended ምክንያቱ you're locked out you cannot log into that EC2 instance through SSH okay but you have to select one network ሕጂ ትዝበልናዮ VPC subnet ገለገለ ንመርፀሉ edit ተልና ኣብዚ we can choose ኣበየናይ subnet ኣበየናይ VPC ኣብዚ ሕጂ VPC ዝብል ኣለና subnet እውን select ክንገብር ንኽእል ኢና availability zone and so on elastic IP ሃን assigned ነውሮ እንደድዲና ገለ ኣብዚ ክንረኽቦ ንኽእል ኢና ግን don't worry about this for now ንስገሮ ጥራይ high level idea ክህልወኩም የለ ነይረ next security group okay ሕጂ let me open this in a new window in a new tab ሕጂ ኣብዚ option ይህበና already security group እንተዳ select I mean create ጌርና ነርና we can select existing security group ንብል ሕጂ ኣብዚኣ ክሊክ ምስ ገበርና security group ናትና ይምፃና ኣነ ሕጂ ብዙሕ security group ኣለኒ okay so I can select the security group that I have created earlier alright እንተዳ create ገይረ ነይረ ኮይነ if I go to EC2 service ab security group section ከይደ security group create ገብር ኽእለ I can even do it here create security group ኢላ ክገብር ኽእለ ግን it's best to view it here so that we can have a better understanding if I scroll down I have a security group over here under networking and security groups ዝብል ኣሎ as you can see I have a lot of security groups but I can go ahead and create a security group and let me name it maybe I will call it demo SG okay all right ኣብዚ ሕጂ for class ኢለ ጽሕፈሉ you can type any description that you want ኣብዚ ማቲ something that will allow you to easily remember what the security group is for. جيت security group one VPC أو وش VPC create دخون. So let me choose the default one. أجي when we create a security group, as you can see, inbound rule ولا حنتي there is the security group has no inbound rule لنا له by default أبز أيام سألناني زخون inbound rule أي بلالناني rule كنفتر لنا بأنا. okay outbound rule ترينا جن by default it allows all traffic destination كأني to anywhere كافت EC2 instance ناتنا initiate دخون traffic نابز خون destination نخيد allowed by default مالتي. okay when we create a security group حد security group create نقبر كلنا easy. so أبز let's add a rule هجي custom TCP بلنا له أبز type نمرز هجي we can search over here HTTP نقول it should be HTTPS قلنا demo سيزخونه HTTP نقول له بزي. it already knows it's a port 80 and it already knows this is a TCP protocol. source from where كابيز مسي هجي inbound rule mind you inbound rule create نقبر لنا we are allowing traffic that comes from where from anywhere IPv4 from the internet معناته web server create تقبر له anywhere تلنا أبز بعلو 0000 يمتصلنا مالتي. okay which is great. okay كاد خني we can add a rule SSH ምናልባት as a management configure كقبر تلقى ኮይنا نز security group I have to allow SSH from where ብለን له my IP address أنا net admin I have one public IP address which only belongs to me ስለዚ ኣብዚ ከማን ይሪኦ ኣሎ so I can do that مالتي my IP address ብል outbound traffic ከም ዘለዎ ክጎድፈዮ for this example then I can create this security group. great my security group is created and now I will go back. let me remove this one. let me select existing security group. let me refresh it. أب select ምስ ገበርኩ ሽዑ demo SG زحجي create ገበርኩ مالتي let me select that one. this is allowing HTTP from anywhere and it is also allowing SSH from my IP address. هذا أبزي storage configure كنقبل خنري أنا خالق زي بوز عين storage options لنا. we'll have a look at another time and then we're done. أجيتي user data دبلنا أبنت update كبر operating system HTTP دي منات web server نحن قبل لنا السو انت دا configure كنقبل لنا user data دبل كنروحوا لنا أبزي إذا هو الحجي نقدفه we don't need anything for now أبزي again user data after more data user data تبل option لنا. so let me grab those scripts that will update my operating system, install HTTPD, okay, and start the HTTPD service and display something when I visit the website مالتي. okay, hello world from إلنا whatever, don't worry about this. okay, so I will go ahead ودي له مالتي جاب زي launch number of instances 1. I will go simply launch instance. now you will see how long it takes to launch an EC2 instance. okay, view instances. let me refresh this and as you can see web server is being provisioned. as instance state type لنا له pending يسرح له مالتي. حجي installing the operating system كله تي delete provision قبر له ENI ديو قلا ديو بملؤ قصاي قبر له حجي أبزي as you can see it already has changed the state running يقول له حجي usual انت هنقبر لنا the status check 2 out of 2 ساعة زخون كنتصبل لنا معناته okay now it's running but it might be doing some operations maybe to user data دحدفكو نعو install يقبره له maybe to HTTP ديو update قبر كله ال operating system whatever. جيت status check check قبره ديو available might not be available yet. نجي قرب تتصبينا we keep refreshing just to confirm. إذا حجي 2 off to مسبلة we try to access our EC2 instance مالتي. okay, sorry, I think this section has taken a lot longer time. نوح كوينا لنا مثلا زي session زي but it's fine. all right, let me refresh it. initializing. okay, هجي select تجيريا زي web server تبل أبزي let me pull it up أبزي حجي بزح information نايتي EC2 instance نركب ماتي instance ID نهل أبزي okay host name type private جزء private IP address بعده AWS allocate تقبل لنا خفت subnet مالتي public IP address كأني set جيرنا نيرنا مثلني but we didn't focus much about it معناته خالق زين مهارينا زهات public IP address نايتي EC2 instance ناتي مالتي it has a public DNS name private DNS name allo okay type نايتي EC2 instance T2 micro select جيرنا أبينا VPC connected كوين دولو provision كوين دولو مالتي the VP side أبينا subnet يزولو it tells us the subnet instance ARN AWS resource name مالتي it's fine most AWS resources they will have a name ARN platform entire Linux so we get a lot of information about the EC2 instance over here okay so let me refresh it. It should be ready now okay 2 of 2 check passed يبلنا okay you can see هجتا يقبر زي public IP address copy جيرة a browser تل paste جيرة it should give me some result مالتي it works right so it's working مالتي we get something displayed to web server install Linux so our EC2 instance is working all right so this is the demo I hope you find it helpful and thank you very much for watching okay ኣብዚኣ ሓንቲ ነገር ምናልባት ኣብ ናትኩም account follow along ትገብሩ ትህሉ ሰትኽእሉ I didn't show you how to terminate it ኩሉ ሳብ ዝኾነ ንዴሞ ኢልና provision ክንገብር ከለና resources we have to clean up our resources so እዚኣ ንመርፃታ web server ድበልናያ እዚኣ already terminate ዝገበርኳ እያ so it's showing me terminated እዚኣ ግን running ትብል ኣላ so yours should be showing running ሕጂ select ጌርና ኣብዚኣ instance state ትብል ዘላ ኸይድና terminate or delete instance ንብላ and then we terminate or delete it ስለዚ clean up ጌርና ያለና ማለት እዩ ሕጂ security group ውን create ገበርና it doesn't cost anything ዝኽፈሎ ነገር የብሉን ግን if you want to keep your resources tidy እዚኣታ demo security group here we select it and then we can go ahead actions and delete security group ጌርና ኣብዚ delete ክንገብሮ ንኽእልና እዚ ግን already allocated ኮይኑ ብላሎ which is fine ምክንያቱ already ብዚ እቲ EC2 instance terminate ገብር ስለ ዘሎ እዩ once the EC2 instance terminate ገይሩ ምስ ወድአ ግን we can go ahead and delete the security group ከምታ ዝረኣናያ ጌርና ማለት እዩ okay saying terminated let me try one more time refresh it just in case select it actions delete security group yes now we can delete it okay so this is how you clean up your resources thank you